Hi, it's December 2nd, Friday, 2016, and not really a garden update, but I'm going to just show some things as I ramble on. It's a Vivian update. In late September, my mother started having more back problems. She's already had back surgery about 5-6 years ago and has 6 screws and pins in 3 vertebrae. And it just got really bad to her. She could hardly walk, and I went to get her, and she wanted to see her pain doctor. And I couldn't get her in for a couple of days, so I gave her the option of going home and waiting at my house until her appointment, or going to the ER, and she wanted to go to the ER, so I took her, and she was diagnosed with Cauda Equina. I'll write it in the description in case you're interested. Syndrome. And it's basically the same muscles that you would use for horseback riding. The nerves that go to those muscles are being crushed. And I was also told that it looks like a horse's tail, where those nerves come out. It looks like almost like a horse's tail coming out. And they had to do an emergency surgery, which they did the next day because of my mom's other conditions. She has stage 5 kidney disease, and she's refusing dialysis. So what little function, she's got less than 15% function in her kidneys. When that goes, and she's refusing dialysis, she doesn't have too many days. So she had the surgery, she recovered, she went to a physical rehab place, she was doing really well, and she got a UTI. And she got very septic, got very sick. We thought maybe she's, brain function, loss of brain function in there, because for quite a while there she wasn't herself. She would ask about my dad, who's been dead for 5 years, what he's having for dinner, is he okay, is he going hungry, is he cared for? Those were the things she would ask. And then after she had to recover from the infection, she wasn't strong enough to stay at the rehab place. She wasn't able to do any of the therapies, so she came home. I brought her home to my place. And this was the last Thursday in October. I don't have the calendar in front of me, so I can't tell you exact dates, but and my goal, she had some appointments the following week that were already scheduled before the emergency surgery, but I canceled everything because I wanted to just keep her home. It was a lot to move her. And it was painful to her. So I wanted her just to relax, get her somewhat settled, got home health coming in, got all that squared away. And here we are, a little over a month later. It was all I could do to I hovered. I mean, I probably didn't need to, but for the first couple of weeks she was here, I was scared to leave her alone with anybody, even though my husband's here, my son is here, my daughter's just not far. I hovered because I just, that's what I do. And I wanted to make sure she was okay. So now she's doing much better. Her brain function is definitely back. She's more herself. She's cantankerous. She's complaining, which is a good sign, I guess, for her. But everything is fallen to the wayside. I bought a rooster right before my mom's back started bothering her, and I made a deal with the guy I bought it from to give me 2 weeks. Then I was going to get it from him. And during the following week, after making that deal, all that stuff started happening. So I sent him a email through Facebook, and then found from a friend I needed to call him because he wasn't on Facebook very often, that to get in touch with him, and finally made arrangements like 3 weeks after I was supposed to get the rooster. I got it and brought it over, and I didn't tell him. I didn't go into what had happened and what was causing it, or that I tried to contact him prior to missing my deadline. It was nice. He was really nice about it. I'm thankful. So I gave him a little jar of my corn cob jelly. That's kind of my little treat right now to people. Everyone's been really understanding, really helpful. We went through Thanksgiving. I did a big spread. Here's some pictures. And it was fun. I love doing Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving and Passover are my holidays. I mean, it's just, put out that spread and always make more than I think I'm going to need and then make some more. And it's way too much. But we're living off of that mainly now. Even though I've made some stuff specifically for my mom, she's stayed on my son-in-law's mac and cheese. That's a big family favorite of ours. And he won't give the recipe. So we always have to ask him, and he gladly makes it and brings it. So we're just like, okay, I can live with that. I harvested all the sage, and winter's so mild, it's growing more. I'm just watching Mrs. Wolfe on our half-acre homestead on how to do a smudge thing, but I had already dried a whole bunch all the way, so live and learn. And the lavender did really well. I don't know if you can see it, but all the leaves from the fig, this little fig bush here has dropped, but now it's already budding. The weather here is just kooky as it can be. And over here, that spider that was here, I thought they died after laying an egg or, started to die after that. But it had to have been the same spider, it was using the same web, laid 4 egg sacs here. So I was not able to keep up with the strawberries, watering them, just coming out here and setting the timer in one section and going, because I was gone most of the days. Hospital visits throughout most of October. I was driving into town an hour away, and it was a lot, and just trying to keep things watered. I harvested what I could of the Perilla leaves and got them dried. I got the seed heads now drying in the house. The strawberries have just run amok. They're in the ground. I need to move all this. Got some big plans for the garden, which involves my husband using the backhoe and digging a 4-foot wide trench. Let me see if I can get this better. Basically, where that table is would be the corner coming this way 4 feet from the far right leg, kind of lining up with the house, giving enough room for that fig tree to be big and still be able to walk by and not have to step into the garden bed, because this is all clay. So I got all sorts of plans, and I need to move this stuff around. I've harvested what okra I can harvest for seed. Got a bunch of seeds put away. So I've been trying to do what I could do, and I don't know if I've lost my kiwis because I let this get way too dry. And I did harvest the Asian sweet potatoes. Got about 5 gallons worth, three 5-gallon buckets worth of sweet potatoes. And here's a picture of them. But I'm going to have my husband, when he gets the backhoe out here, do several 4-foot trenches with 2 to 3 foot in between. This is packed clay. So when he digs the trenches out, he's just going to put what he's dug up to the side of the trench, try to even it out. And then I'm gonna fill it manually with chicken manure, horse manure, compost, with mixed of the clay that we've got here. I'm going to do roughly 2 parts manure compost to the 1 part clay. So those are the proportions I'm going to use. And a lot of these buckets and these totes are going to be emptied. And I'm going to strain the roots and stuff out as best as I can and put it into the trenches. And we're going to do several. The trees can go. They were supposed to be cut down anyway. And a lot of cleaning up and time. And now I feel like I can come out here and do stuff. I have our wireless home phone that they can call me on the intercom on to, get me back in to help Mom with anything when she needs it. She's a lot more independent. I kind of set her up and let her be. We've got a routine going now. I know she wants to go back home, but I think that's a death sentence for her. I think every time in the past couple of years, she's come and stayed, and she's gotten better and really good and looking better, and medications are managed and blood pressure is good. And then she goes home and quick decline. It's been a cycle. And she's stubborn, but this time it's like I'm not giving her the option. I'm not asking her, do you want to go home and then I'll come get you, or this is the way it is. This is just life from this point forward, and she's not a burden. We're living. I want her to see that I can, I'm doing things I want to do. I got some woodworking projects I really want to get into. Everything's been, postponed for the past 2 months. So I don't know when I'll get another video up, but I thought this was a good time to get one while it was nice and pretty and showing what a disaster this has become. But I had so much fun. Oh, let me get back to the sweet potatoes. It was one thing to dig through the mounds, where I knew that they were supposed to grow. But the vines went crazy. I didn't cut them back. I meant to use them as feed for the goats and chickens, and it just didn't happen. And in fact, if you remember from a previous video, I used some of the vines as fillers in the buckets. And yeah, I accidentally grew, like right there. That's where I dumped that bucket that had Perilla growing in it. And it had some small ones, not very big, but we like the small ones too. And then I noticed that, I'm trying to see if I can find one. Oops, looks like I missed this one. But that was probably one that fell out of the bucket when I got knocked over. But if I saw, like right there, oh goodness, my camera skills are not the best. Right there, the ground is bubbled up. And there's a good chance, let me see if I can do this. Look for an irregular bump with a crack. And there. So after I dug through the mound, I realized this was, so I spent like an hour doing this, looking for bumps, and I had buried some of the vines in with the mound that I was digging up. So, and they're not, none were really any bigger than this, trying to go in the clay. But I couldn't help myself. It was almost like when we went clam digging. And I was just looking for little signs of, could it be a sweet potato hiding in there? I doubt this is one. Oh, wait. No. But I was doing that, I was like, I had to stop. It's like there's a point where I'm just going to let it be. And I've learned, chances are, there are mounds like that buried because I was, this was actually a mound right here. This dip is where I dug in and got all the potatoes out, and I'm just, getting the dirt out to the side. And there's a little potato right there. And I don't know if I don't think I threw that there. I think these have plumped up since last Saturday when I did this. Saturday and Sunday. So, into the bucket. And a new lesson learned. But I think I will just go ahead and grow my sweet potatoes here again. Do some more mounds. Just cover this up with mulch. I got some bags of mulch coming. And doing what I can as I can. I see some little bumps that I want to dig up, but no, not right now. And they're small. I mean, and I don't waste. I hate to waste anything, but there's a limit to my time and energy. And see, this is all, the vines just covered this whole area. I mean, it was just covered. You can still see the little things sticking up where the leaves have dried. And I didn't preserve any of the leaves or stems this year. It just didn't happen. I wanted it to, but it didn't. And this was the tool. The pronged end just would go through and I was just scraping bit by bit off, like excavating in the mound. I was actually working from the bottom up in the mound, so things would just fall down. And then once I saw the tuber, I would grab it and just wiggle it out of place, and it would, break off where it would naturally break, had the weakest point, and get disconnected from the vine. And I should have videoed that, but I'm sorry. I was just having fun, and I just needed something kind of mindless and feeling like I accomplished something when I was done with it. Also, during that time, my daughter contacted me and says they have a friend of theirs had a china cabinet, and they couldn't use it where they were moving to, wanted to get rid of it, had one little damage. And what I wanted, I was like, okay, I wanted it if it would fit next in a spot, in a certain spot. And my son-in-law said, yeah, it should fit there, but no, it didn't. And they brought it. It was free, so I put it into what was going to be my craft room. And at that time, I didn't know my mom was coming here. And right before she came, I went ahead and painted it. So here's the before and after. And I really like how it turned out. It looks so much better to me. It's just that wood stuff just looks too 70s or something for me. But I've got to do more projects, little projects like that. Not that that was little, that was 2 days of painting. I have 2 coats of that stuff on there. Doing little projects. I got a project for one of our walls. I got all this stuff, just got to get the time to do it, and not be interrupted so much. But little projects like that is just saving my sanity, because I just feel like just overwhelmed. There's so many things. Here is one of the pink lady apple trees. I bought 4, and one of them's dropped all its leaves. I don't know if it died on me or what's going on with it. The plum tree I've got, the leaves are all gone, and the pomegranate trees, the leaves are all gone. But 3 of the pink ladies still have leaves like this. It's just been weird weather. I definitely need more mulch, and there's plenty of leaves dropping in the woods here. The pathways here are covered with leaves. I just need to get out and rake and haul it here. And I think I may have mentioned in another video that I ordered 300 trees. Yes, I'm crazy. I don't plan on planting 300 trees here, or even 150 trees. Maybe 48, 50, something like that, not counting any more figs or chestnut trees that I'm going to keep and plant. But I'm very excited about that coming in March, the week of spring, first week of spring in March. Look at the goats. They've come. See what? I said, Mama, you hadn't been up here in a while. Look how big my buttercup has gotten. That's her in the middle. That's the not quite right goat. And they're not supposed to be up here. They're supposed to be down a couple levels, 3 levels, in a new area, but again, things are happening. Oh, look like that old wooden spool is about to fall apart. They've been tearing it apart, jumping on it. I saw it wobbling, but I didn't know what was causing it, but it's leaning. So I need to build them something so they're not bored, and we need to get them bred. But trying to find a buck, and I don't think we want to transport them there. I think we're going to just bring him here, and when he's done with his business, freezer time. So I don't think anyone wants to sell us a buck under those conditions. So we're not too worried about what kind of breed he is, because I don't think we want another nanny goat. And we may sell the kids or raise them for meat. Here's one of the chestnut trees, and even though it got eaten up by something, it's surviving. Looked like the tip got bitten off too. This one I think is dead. And this is the other one that I had split in half, and the other half I'll show you in just a moment. And just needed more watering, I think, and I didn't mulch it soon enough. So I will put another chestnut tree here. But I think I'm going to put it more in the area that hasn't been bulldozed, box plated, whatever, through here, and put it in the dirt up there. Here's the other half. And I hadn't really checked on the ones I planted in the woods, but see, this is, I know that looks kind of bad, but chestnut trees keep their leaves. They're not supposed to drop their leaves. Even through winter, they don't drop until spring, when the new leaves, the buds, push off the dead leaves. So that's how you can tell a chestnut tree compared to other trees. It does drop off, but not until the spring. So many plans, and from my previous videos I mentioned how very few of my plans are going as I planned, and just being flexible and not too harsh on myself, or not reaching goals and deadlines that I set for myself, and just trying to meet the ones that I've set with other people, so at least I don't disappoint them. On top of everything else, I hurt my back. My mom's wheelchair, it's not that it's so heavy, it was an awkward position to get it into the car, and I pulled something, and it's just not been right, and I've just been extra careful, and I just cannot afford to get sick at this point. Anything that's going to lay me up more than what's happened. And again, planning, I can't control those things, but I can control what I eat. I've been trying to catch up on video channels, and reason I mention that is there's several channels that I love, but there's a lot of things on there like cooking, things with wheat in it. I just can't do it. Wheat makes my pain that much worse, causes all sorts of other stuff. not gluten, wheat. I can have rye, which has gluten, but trying to keep my health as well as I can. I wanted to do a series on health, and uh, something kept coming up and interfering with that, and maybe I'll get that done, but just, I've got more things on my to-do list with more things being added than I can get taken off in any given day. So bit by bit, I want to Michigan Snow Ponies hoop house. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. I wanted to get something up here, but I got to do that after the trench is put in, so I can hoop over at least one of the trenches and get the strawberry plants into the hoop house for the winter. Even though we've had some frost and they seem to be doing fine, I still want to get them covered too, because I know I've lost a couple of plants to the freeze, but again, got to give myself some slack and doing what I can do as I can do it. My mom's mentality, definitely she's back to her old self, and it kind of drives me nuts. I mean, she's full Korean, her mentality, because I mentioned something about my husband teaching me how to use a tractor, and she goes, no, you don't need to learn that. And I was like, why not? She goes, you're a woman. And I was just like, Mom, oh my God. I mean, if something happens to my husband or he's too busy, I mean, he's busy. And if I know how to do it, I can do it. I don't need him to stop. I can come out here and do it. But that's the mentality she has. And she just kind of laughed it off. But when I told her how messed up that was, it's just been funny. I'm glad she's at least herself and has some wherewithal, because before it was rough. She didn't know whose house she was, and she was asking me when we bought it, because we've been here only a year now. She was like, when did you buy this house? Why didn't you tell me about you buying a new house? This is your house? Or she kept telling me it was someone else's house, different people, not the same people. So that was always, it was a kind of a rough time, just kind of keeping her calm and not letting her get overly upset. So I wouldn't correct her a lot of times. I would just let her go on with whatever. She saw people that weren't there, telling me there was a man and a woman camped out near our garage, and they were there for several days. Every time she looked out the window, she saw them and told me what they were doing. She still sees a white dog running around. So I hadn't seen the white dog. And Thanksgiving, we had a nice little get together, and Mom was telling me about a woman feeding the goats, and I'm going, yeah, and I look out, and one of my friends was out there feeding the goats, and I was like, I'm so sorry, Mom, I thought you were being dingy again. And we had a good laugh over that one. So I gotta be careful, because she's really sharp on some stuff. It's like, no, you're not gonna pull a fast one on her. But other things, it's like, Mom, there's no white dog running around here. None. No dog at all. White, black, anything. No dog. She told me one of the cats has been trying to poop in the same position for like 2 hours. I was like, no, he's over there napping. He's not pooping. Just little weird stuff and things like, okay, whatever, a lot of times, but things that upset her, because she was like, that something's wrong with the cat. It's like, Mom, it's sleeping. It's not pooping. She's like, and showed her, and then she said there was a cat with kittens outside her window, and she could see them, and I knew exactly what weeds. I had to pull them up. They were above where you see the wagon. There was some weeds, and I pulled them out, and I said, these are your cats, aren't they? And she goes, yeah, they were. So I don't know how much time I have with her, how much time she's got left. Between her kidney failure, it's all the other issues that she's dealing with. I don't know how much time I got with my real mom, because that first couple of weeks with her being really loopy, dementia, serious dementia, it was heartbreaking. I mean, it was just, And that, I think that was harder on me than any of the physical things we were having to deal with her medical conditions. But this is the stage of life I think a lot of people are in. I'm not the only one on Facebook. I've got several friends that are in just worse positions with aging parents, and they still have kids at home. My son is 24, and between my husband who works from home and my son who only works less than 2 miles away, my daughter that's 8 miles away, and my sisters who come up from Jacksonville almost every weekend since this happened, from October to now, so they've been under a lot too. I've got a really good support system, and I've got friends that have offered to come and sit with Mom if I need to go do something. They can come over here and just visit with her. So I'm truly blessed, and I'm counting my blessings, and I'm trying to be joyful during all this. So I'm sorry if there aren't more videos and more fun stuff, but just letting you know what's going on. It's an update on me in the garden. Thanks for watching.